Like to call a meeting to order. Moved by Councillor Keogh, seconded by Councillor Ruff, resolved that the regular meeting commence at the hour of 7 p.m. And be it further resolved that council acknowledges that we are meeting in the Robinson Spirit Treaty area on lands that have been traditionally used by several Indigenous nations. But we would like to pay special recognition to our closest Indigenous neighbors, the community of Pignagon Nishnawbek and Nemizagamic Nishnawbek First Nations. We wish to recognize a long history of the First Nations and Métis people in our region, specifically, and show respect to them today. All in favor? Carried. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? No. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Being none, approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Ruff, seconded by Councillor Keogh, resolved that the agenda be approved as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Okay, delegations, presentations, none. Adoption of the minutes. Moved by Councillor Keogh, seconded by Councillor Hudson, resolved that the minutes of the special council meeting held February 25th, 2025 are adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Keogh, seconded by Councillor Kotick, resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held February 26th, 2025 are adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Officials, correspondence, reports. Moved by Councillor Ruff, seconded by Councillor Kotick, resolved that the minutes of the Manitowoc Public Library meeting held November 18th, 2024 and February 24th, 2025 be accepted as received. All in favor? Carried. Okay, update by the mayor. I want to say I was at the Thunder Bay District Municipal League, and we as council, we had a meeting with Chief Shane Meir of the EMS service, and it was a great meeting about the lack of paramedics we have in the region. Now, one thing he did say is there's going to be 26 paramedics hired in the region, and which is the whole Thunder Bay region. Now, the incentive is they're gonna give the paramedics that they hire $4,000 signing bonus for year one and for year two, as long as they accept the job out of the city. So anywhere in the outlying regions, all the small towns, if they want to come, then they get signing bonuses, which is great, better incentive. So hopefully we can get more paramedics here, and then we won't have a shortfall in the staffing. And that was also part of the meeting with him, was to have a joint venture to work with our Manitowoc Fire Department for lift assists and other ways they can help them on a call. Okay, so and I understand that Chief Portugal, our fire chief, and Chief Meir actually spoke today, and looks like things are going to work out great. So that's great news on that. And while we're on the EMS subject, I want to say congratulations to Terrace Bay for getting the new EMS hall. So our station, they've been granted, and I guess sorry describer. So hopefully, you know, they will still have coverage in their area, but they just won't have a station there anymore. So yeah, other than that, that's all I got. Over to you.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. It's been a challenging couple of weeks with water breaks in Manitowoc, so I just want to recognize Tyler Brewster and the staff at Public Works for all their hard work in making those repairs so quickly and assisting the residents that were impacted with some flooding in their basements. So it's not a good time of year when the frost is coming out of the ground, and it has a really big impact on our infrastructure. So this is something that we're looking into the future for. In terms of funding from both the province and the federal government to assist us with infrastructure replacement. And then, of course, it's March break, and so a big shout out to Community Services Department, Trish, Cindy, Lisa, and all the staff at REC for putting all the programming together. The ski hill is up and running this week, and just it's a great week. We still have snow. We can still do lots of outdoor activities. So thanks to the staff.
And it's warming up.
And it's warming up, I suppose.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now over to business. Moved by Councillor Conick, second by Councillor Keough. Resolved that council is in receipt of administration report TR 2025-01 submitted by Aaron McGregor, treasurer, regarding the 2025 user fee update. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, members of council, through you, Mr. Chair. So we have before us the report for the 2025 user fees update. This is an annual piece of administration that comes before council. As I outlined in my report, we followed a guideline of the Canada Price Index or inflation guideline of 2.4%, which was 2024's inflation rate when determining what increases to apply. The report details in greater detail than that guideline. We looked at the first item in the report is water and sewer charges. I think that's what everybody looks to first. It's the largest piece of our user fees as far as amount of revenue. We increased water and sewer charges by 2.5% to most properties. Those are the properties that are smaller or medium volume users, and then the higher volume users, there was not an increase tabled, and then the highest volume user, 46 Shibandawon, Santé Manitowoc Health, saw a modest decrease. Overall, the major levy is the single residential. That's by far most households are under that levy, and it amounts to an increase of $19.23 per year. For general administration, we had some of it was cleaning up practices that are no longer. One of them was in the past there was a practice to charge for extension agreements for certain accounts receivable. We removed that, seeing it as a punitive charge. So we want to encourage those that need assistance and want to make repayment agreements. We want them to reach out, and we have success when we invite people to do so. New administration charges on the other side of that coin. We've added administration charges for tax arrears notices and tax sale proceedings. So for those that have larger than $100 outstanding, we do have periodic reminders that go out. So we've introduced some administration charges for those notices, as well as if a property does go to collections and tax sale, we quote some administration charges for that, because it is time consuming for administration to put together those files. Marriage license pricing has increased, and we've introduced weekly and monthly trade license fee rates for non-residents of Manitowoc. Residents of Manitowoc are not subject to licensing fees for conducting business, but for non-residents, we previously had a $300 per year charge, but we wanted to offer smaller periods of time to invite those that do want to. Traveling salesmen, etc. We've had some success and a lot of interest for some local farm goods, local in the region and in Ontario that's come in, and as a couple of examples. Bylaw department, some small adjustments to pound fee rates for weekends and non-business days. And the call out rate was adjusted to align with call out rates in different departments for similar staff. Our costs are essentially the same for those different call outs, so we wanted to harmonize that. Some adjustment to airport. We've added a fee for personal aircraft, as we never had a set fee for personal flights before. It was only business flights that we charged. We don't have a ton of personal flights that come through the airport, but we do want to recover our costs of operations where possible for those that are using these services. We've made adjustments to municipal golf course rates. We're looking to close the gap a little bit with some of our discounts, because we do have some very neat discounts for some of the user group categories. So the details are in the schedule attached. And we also adjusted rates for Key West Ski Hill. We increased those rates more than other areas to reflect the fact that the costs are high of operating the ski hill operation. And we're looking forward to in future years adjusting rates such that they're more commensurate with our costs in the cases where our rates are quite low or quite high. But again, as I mentioned earlier in the report, we're looking to make incremental changes to not shock anybody with anything that's too extreme that's as far as changes to these. Small increase to the per punch amount for the landfill. Public Works, most of those fees were incremented in line with that 2.4% inflation guideline. Building, planning and zoning, there were some larger increases there because when compared to other municipalities and with consideration for the costs that we incur for those services, we're out of line as far as other municipalities charging quite a bit more, and we incur significant costs associated with administration and consulting on some of those items. Cemetery rates in line with the 2.4% inflation guideline. And that is the highlights. Of course, the details are in the schedule. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
You have a question? No. Questions?
Through the chair, yeah, it was good that you caught the airport thing, considering, traveling and whatnot, you pay just to park your vehicle, right? So it's definitely, would benefit the airport by, having a fee for private planes landing at our airport. So good on you.
Thank you. And personal flights are probably one of the areas where users can afford to pay a landing fee, I would say.
Through the chair, there is a few on here that are vacant commercial space. I am just curious how their water levy is being calculated, if it's now vacant, if we're calculating it off previous years when it's running. Obviously, they're going to be using considerably less water with it being vacant, so I was just wondering how you calculate that.
That's a very good question. So this is something that we've discussed at the table, that because our flat rate water and sewer structure is based on those historical metered rates. Yes, over time, as circumstances change and properties change, and like you said, a business may have been operated when we set these rates, and exactly what you said, now they're not, so they're not using the same amount. That is something that administration and council needs to look at going forward as far as how to address those cases. I'd certainly look forward to putting together a report for a later date to explore that, because it does over time it'll get to be more of a significant issue as we have more and more change over time, right? So all of that to say, it's something that we need to explore in the future.
Thank you. Sorry, one more question. So the industrial properties, are all of the industrial properties listed? Do they all have buildings on them? Or are some of them just vacant land?
So when this was initially prepared, this rate structure was established based on our old system counts. So those accounts were essentially transferred over. So essentially every property on here was built in the past for the water meter program. Now, that's not exactly the question you asked. Yes, about buildings. But yeah, so it would follow that most of these, yes, would have, not most, all of them would have buildings on them because they would have had a water meter previously. We essentially took the old system accounts and brought them into the new system, if that makes sense. Now, of course, as you saw in the report, and I kind of glossed over that, there are a couple of adjustments on the table here. 1 Black Road and 6 Sioux Road. 1 Black Road has no services, and I believe that was an administrative error where an address was listed I'd have to look back at how that happened, but essentially we did pull one account over that there wasn't water and sewer service, so that's that one correction. And then the other one is we charge for water and sewer service, but there's actually only water service at that property because some in the industrial area, they have a septic tank, but they get water service from us, so those are those two adjustments.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions? Okay, well, I want to say that, you know, to go along with the, just the cost of inflation and, you know, for the residents that are probably will be upset that their water bill is going up per se, at an increase of less than $20 for the whole year. I do not see that substantial at all. So that's a very moderate, increase, which I think is fair. I personally would like to see the fees, you know, when I went through it, the fees for the ski hill, I think could use actually an increase just to help cover the costs that are out there. And another one was the tipping fees at the landfill. Again, you know, it might even help people recycle a little more or use the services that are free of charge, like the curbside garbage pickup and recycling. You know, which we pay a flat rate, so, you know, if they do not like the increase, well, then leave your garbage at the road, everything. But, so, yeah, other than that, those two little things, I think I'd like to see increased a little more, but other than that, great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, your worship.
Okay. And further that council adopts the attached 2025 user fee bylaws and schedule of user fees. And further that council approves the recommended water and sewer levy adjustments for the 2023 and 2024 for 1 Black Road and 6 Sioux Road. All in favor? Carried. Being moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Ruff, being a bylaw to establish the 2025 services and charges be ready first and second time. And furthermore, be ready third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2025-12. All in favor? Carried. Okay, moved by Councillor Keough, seconded by Councillor Kottic. Whereas section 239(4) of the Municipal Act 2001 SO 2001 C25 provides that before holding a meeting or part of a meeting that is to be closed to the public, a municipality or local board or committee of either of them shall state by resolution the fact of holding the closed meeting and the general nature of the matter to be considered at the closed meeting. Now therefore be it resolved that this meeting is hereby closed to the public as the subject matter being discussed falls under the following sections. Section 239(2)B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Staffing, CAO recruitment. All in favor? Carried.